Okay, everybody, good afternoon. We are going to be working today with our PowerPoint certification test study guide so we can all get ready to take our test here. And just a quick thing, we've been working in PowerPoint for several weeks now, and you guys are up to date with the learning different pieces of it, various tasks and activities from the activities we've done over the last couple of weeks. So today we're going to do a guided practice where I'm going to get a feel for how ready we are to actually sit down and take this test. So first off, I'm going to show you some of the functions that you need to do this activity for today. And then we're going to be given the opportunity for you to work together and teach your partner how to do the different tasks as well. One person teaching, another person showing, doing the work. That being said, while you're doing that, I will be walking around the room, observing and helping out if you have issues or have areas you're unsure of. And then we can also talk back as a class, any issues that everybody's having, and go over those together. So please ask questions so that we can all learn together nicely. Our standards here are in place for technology enhancing our communication by using presentation applications, the creation of slides, using different elements of the slides, adding, removing slides, working with slide layouts, formats, inserting slides and formatting placeholders, as well as applying transition and custom animation to our slide presentation for our audiences as we do. So our goal, this activity for this lesson, is that we'll all be able to identify and perform the functions that we need to be able to pass our certification tests for PowerPoint 2019, either working independently or in small groups is what we're hoping to work towards today. The objective overall is that we're able to pass the certification test, that we know these functions that we need to pass the test, and we'll be able to complete them in the time frame that the test requires. So I've got a performance scale here that we're going to use. So ideally, we're looking to get everybody to a level 3 in our performance scale so that the students are able to perform the task and pass the certification test. I know from the other day when we did a raise of hands where everybody was, a 1, 2, 3, or 4, we have a good number of people that are right here at the number 2. So we're going to really work today with this activity to get you over those difficult things that you have and move you up to that next level, level 3. So that's our goal and the way we're going across the board. We do have a few people down here struggling, and I'll be working individually and one-on-one with some of them in small groups to get them to move up in our scale as well. So that's the whole goal of the project today. What it's going to be is I'm going to take some time and I'm going to model and walk through some of the activities for the Dinosaur project. And then you're going to have the opportunity, like I said earlier, to work in pairs, where one student will instruct the other student how to perform the task. And using this video and other videos that I have of the entire project out there on our learning system and Canvas. And then also at the end of that, when you get done with this, you're going to switch. And the second student that was performing the task will then do the instructional pieces of it. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump out here and open up our PowerPoint and start our walkthrough. So all of our instructions for that is in the handout that you all have, has a step-by-step instruction. So I'm going to show you a couple of them getting started here. First off, the first one is change the size of a presentation from 8 inches wide to 11 inches wide, and it wants you to ensure that it fits inside all the content fits. So first off, we're going to go to our Design tab, and then we'll use our slide size. And since the two standard sizes are not what we want, we're doing a custom size. And ideally, we're just going to change our width to the 8 that it wants and to 11 for the height. Not going to mess with any of the other areas. Say OK to that, and then select Ensure that it fits, just like the question asked. And then it'll change that presentation to an 8.5 by 11. So that's one thing in there. I'm also going to jump ahead here to another activity in this, working with our SmartArt. So in one of the questions, it says on slide 4, reverse the SmartArt, the direction it's going. You see the arrows pointing in that direction. We're going to select the SmartArt. And of course, when you select that, you now have the SmartArt design. And right over here in the Create Graphic, it says right to left. Just click that and boom, it just changes it right back like that. So those are a few of the things that we have to do in this section. So I'm going to try one more here, just a quick one to walk us through, and then we'll let you guys work independently on this. So one of them wants us to embed the fonts for only the characters in this presentation and save the presentation. In order to do that, we're going to go to the back page. Back page is under File, and then we're going to use our options because this is an option to embed fonts, and then it's part of the save function. So when it saves it, we're going to select the save function, and then down here you'll see embed fonts in the file. Now when you activate that, you got these two buttons. We're going to select the embed only the characters used in the presentation. Like it asking the question, click yes, and then away you go. So that being said, at this point I'm going to let you guys kind of work together. We're going to put you in groups of two, and one person is going to go through the instructions that you have, and you're going to instruct the person. So the person on the right is going to be our instructor, and the person on the left is going to be our doer. So as you're doing that, I'm going to wander around and just get a feel for where everybody is. And then if we have any questions, I'll take us back up and walk through some of the areas that we may have some difficulty working around, some problems that you may have. So that being said, let's all get together. Go ahead, open up the PowerPoint. You, the doers, you need to open up the PowerPoint, and then our instructors, grab your instructions, and you're going to start with question 1. And these are questions that are exact examples of what would be on the certification test. So the only difference is you have little hints underneath them. When you take the test, you won't have that option. So you're going to need to know how to do these things by just doing them, reading it, and then analyzing the question to determine what you need to do. Simply across the board. So that's easy enough in that regard. So going to let you guys take a few minutes with that. I'm going to wander around and see how things are going. So if you have any questions, we're going to work on that. Okay. So as I'm wandering around the room, I noticed some of the kids were struggling with one of the tasks. It was related to task number 6, where they're arranging the slides down. So on that, so I said, hey guys, let's all come back here. I want to walk you through this and show you how to do this. So in that one, it asks us to use, go to slide 6. So we go to slide 6, and we have 3 circles on here. And we are going to select these circles across the board. So we're going to click on the shape, the 0, click on shape, which will then give us a shape format option. And under in range, we're going to select pane. The select pane is going to allow us to move our circles from one place to the other. We want to put them in a specific order. So we want conclusion circle 2 to be our first circle. So easily enough, what you can do is move conclusion circle 2 over 1, put 1 in there, move this one here, and then 2, 1, and 3 is what is there. So it lays it out here. That usually be able to do this on here. I don't know what's going on, why we're having some trouble with it, but I'm going to let it go. So another way to do it, like I said, is to move it this way by moving them around together. So that being said, that's another easy way to work with that. This here sometimes makes it a little bit difficult. I have trouble with it too sometimes, so it's not just me, you. So we all can work together. So any other things? Let you guys go ahead and get back to working on those, and then we'll wrap up things here shortly in a minute or two. So that being said, I'm going to move on to the next section that we have here that you guys wanted to hear in presentation about with me. So here's what we're doing. Here's how I handle my adaptations or accommodations for students, whether they be language or individual situations. I have a video instruction of the entire project in the learning management system. So students have access to that. And I've also used YouTube before and put my videos out on YouTube so the students can subscribe to my page, YouTube channel, and they can get those videos right down from there. The other thing is I have printed instructions available for all my students to use as well. And then those ELL or language learners, ESL, there is the Office 365 has a immersion language translator within it, and Chrome also has a translator that whenever we're working on things that uses the internet on a web browser, they can translate the information to a language that they're familiar with. And then, of course, as I'm in the classroom, I am visually monitoring and walking around, assisting the kids, whether they're working in pairs or if they're working independently, helping them to identify any questions or issues they may have, and seeing what they're learning and what they don't know, and then knowing where I can then adapt my lesson to accommodate them better by reteaching a spot or working with a small group across the board in that regard. Go ahead and bring this presentation back up so we can move through it here. The next thing, independent practice. The students are able to use a practice platform that I have. It is Gmetrics. It's a practice platform that allows them to take practice tests and takes test simulations exactly the way the tests are given. It also has a training mode, which when they need help, it can click help and it'll give them the step-by-step instructions, just like I have in my worksheet. So they can practice with that. As far as data and gathering information, I gather the information and the data from the assessments that we do in class, but also from the Gmetrics and the actual certification test. Those are used to develop individual study plans, showing the students which areas they may have done poorly in. And then we can focus on those areas rather than working on areas that they've already mastered. And that way they're not wasting their time on those mastered areas when they have areas that they can really be focusing on to complete. It provides them a work area, and it also provides me the opportunity to understand what tasks and areas that they're struggling with, and then I can implement some reteaching options in there to reteach those, maybe come up with a few more projects that utilize those so they can practice them in a classic work environment as well. I do review their class work and their practice tests and their certification results, and that provides me guided information for them, and it prepares me, allows me to work with them or get back to them when they review their work. You know, hey, this is where you need to work on. These are areas that you're struggling in, and I can then create additional guided instruction to help the students make sure that they're preparing for their next opportunity to take the certification test. Our students take the certification test, have 3 options to take it, or 3 opportunities. So usually the first one is the biggest wake-up call for them when they realize that, and that's a good point where I give them feedback on what they're doing and what they can do to improve across the board with things like that. As far as teaching, I love my kids. I love working with kids. Technology is a great advantage. And I think having visual learning, having hands-on activities, and then having printed information available for them provides a lot of opportunities for them to be successful in their thing. So that kind of wraps up the information I have for you. Regarding, I hope that is exactly what you need. If there's any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and have a wonderful afternoon.